Good afternoon, and welcome to the NJEDA's Innovation Programs Office Hours. My name is Cecily Kovach, and I'm the Managing Director of Technology and Life Sciences Innovation at the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. I'm pleased to see so many entrepreneurs online today. These office hours are designed to inform New Jersey entrepreneurs, specifically founders of technology and life sciences companies, of the vast resources available to you to start and grow your business. For those of you who are less familiar with the NJEDA, the EDA provides a suite of financing and incentive programs tailored to support New Jersey startups and grow New Jersey's innovation economy. Today, we will feature NJEDA programs in three categories: direct investment, incentives and grants, and ecosystem resources. Over the next 90 minutes or so, you'll be hearing presentations from subject matter experts on select NJEDA innovation programs, as well as resources from the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, or CSIT. Before we dive in, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Today's event is being recorded. A link to view this event online will be available on the Innovation Office Hours webpage. Please allow at least 48 business hours for the link to go live. Microphones are muted, and we will be taking questions after each speaker. If you wish to ask a question, please use the Q&A feature within the Zoom protocol. Participants may not be able to see the submitted questions. However, the panelists can, and I will read them off. Please keep any company-specific questions further towards the end, and let's try to keep the questions more specific to all of the entrepreneurs on the call, if at all possible. If we are unable to address your questions during today's office hours, we will follow up with an email. So without further ado, I'm pleased to turn the microphone over to our first presenter. Fariha, go right ahead.
Thank you, Cecily. Next slide, please. So I'll be starting with our Angel Match program, which is one of our direct investment programs in which if companies are raising funds via a preferred equity round, we can match that on a one-to-one basis with a convertible note of up to $500,000. So this program is relevant for companies that are early stage and have a product in one of our core industries. We are looking for companies that have at least $100,000 in 12-month trailing revenue on their core business and are raising funds in a preferred equity structure with a defined price per share. Our website outlines additional requirements, including around employees, founders, and office space. For this program, we are matching funds on a one-to-one basis with the company's private round. So we would be looking for term sheets for a minimum of $100,000, and we can match up to $500,000. These term sheets must come from at least two external investors, which could be a combination of different types, including angels, VCs, etc. So the Angel Match instrument is Thank you. The Angel Match instrument is a 10-year convertible note with no payments for 7 years and a 3% interest rate. And a great thing about this program is that EDA is the first to commit. So what this means is through our commitment letter, companies can go ahead and raise additional private capital up to our $500K match. Through this program, we are able to stimulate additional funding from the investment community, and investors from around the world are eligible to be matched. One thing to note for this program is the timeline. So investments that have closed are not eligible for matching. Therefore, companies should be applying with term sheets or letters of intent. And after EDA goes through our application process, we issue a commitment letter, and companies can then go ahead and close on their external funds, and EDA continues with our closing process then. Next slide, please. These are some of the companies that have benefited through this program. They span a range of industries from tech, life sciences, and more. Next slide. So I'll now be going over our net operating loss program, which is one of our sources for non-dilutive capital for companies. So this enables companies that are running at an operating loss to sell a portion of their accrued losses or R&D tax credits to unrelated companies in New Jersey. So we're looking for companies that have protected proprietary intellectual property and negative operating income for at least 2 consecutive years in New Jersey. And through this program, they're able to turn the tax offset from their NOLs and R&D tax credits into non-dilutive capital. So this allows them to realize the cash value today to use the cash towards working capital or to fund additional research instead of future tax write-offs. One thing to note about this program is it runs on an application cycle. So each year, the application opens at the beginning of May and closes on June 30th. So if companies are interested, we recommend reaching out early so we can walk you through the process and address any concerns. Next slide. This is an example of a company that has utilized this program. It's TrueFort, which is a cybersecurity software platform, and they've received non-dilutive capital that allowed them to create 28 high-skilled and high-paying jobs in the state. And with that, I'll hand it over to Abdu for the remaining programs.
Hello.
Actually, let's take sorry, Abdu. Do you mind if we take a pause here and see if there's any questions specifically on Angel Match or NOL for Fariha?
Thank you, Cecily.
Okay. In the Q&A I see, is this at minimum 100K 12-month trailing revenue or up to 100K trailing revenue?
So we're looking for a minimum of at least 100,000 in 12-month trailing.
Yes. Any other questions on Angel Match or the NOL program at this time? Okay. Thank you, Fariha. I'll hand it over to Abdu Salaman. Go ahead.
Hello. My name is Abdu. I am on the technology innovation side, and I'll be discussing a few programs. So the first program I'll be discussing is the Angel Tax Credit Program. So this program provides a refundable tax credit to private investors in eligible New Jersey tech or biotechnology companies. So a quick example I can give you. So if an investor is interested in investing in a New Jersey company, they can receive 20% back. So if they're investing 100,000 into your company, they can get $20,000 back in a check or refundable tax credit. So it's a very high incentive for the investor. So some of the things to know for the investor is the investor is going to be across the world. They don't have to be in New Jersey. Some company requirements are it must have 75% of their full-time employees in New Jersey, and it must be a technology and biotechnology company. So some important things for this program is the investor must not have any tax liability in New Jersey in order to receive a cash refund. So if they have no tax liability, they can receive a check in the mail. So it's a very successful program, and we've seen a lot of success from it. Some benefits for this incentivize the investor into investing in New Jersey companies. So we see a lot of companies put this program onto their slide deck and their pitch deck to incentivize the investor. So the next slide, I'll discuss a program that was supported by the Angel Tax Credit Program. They were able to receive over $500,000 in counting in Angel Tax Credits, and they also received a 5% bonus for women and minority certifications. So the EDA have given additional bonuses for women and minority-owned certifications that you can receive from the state. There's a few guidelines and a few certifications you've received, and we can tell you more about that later on. They were also able to spur $3.2 million in external investments into the company. And they also received other programs. So for our programs, we can stack as many as you want, as long as it fits the requirements. So they stack CSIT grants that will be discussed later, the MVP program, and small business grants. So in the next slide, I'll be talking about another program. This is also an incentive for the investor. It's the New Jersey Entrepreneur Support Program, also known as NJESP. So this program provides a guarantee up to 80% on private investors, loans, convertible notes for New Jersey companies for working capital. So, like again, the investor can be across the world. They don't have to be New Jersey. And some of the requirements for the company are to have 50% of their full-time employees in New Jersey, at least have one person on payroll, and they must have an office space. So the office space, we get this question a lot. The office space has to be a corporate office space. So it could be a co-working space, a regular office space, but it cannot be a home office space. So some of the requirements for the convertible note or the bridge loan, it must have at least a 1 year maturity, no payments for the first year, and excuse me, I lost my train of thought. But those are the main requirements. And so I'll give you a quick example on how the program works. If an investor is interested in investing in a New Jersey company, they invest 100,000, they can receive 80,000 for the whole, a guarantee for 80,000 of that amount for a whole year of the date of the note. Some important things about these two programs that I was just discussed. These are two-part applications. So it starts with the investor, then gets sent over to the company. Also, for the NJESP program, that there's a cap for 500,000 on notes and 400 in the guarantee itself. So some of the benefits are the cash injection from the investor issuing a loan, and security to the investor from the NJEDA guaranteeing 1 year from the date of the note. And here are some of the programs that use this, some of these companies that use this program. So these companies have used the program multiple times. So we've seen a lot of multiple applications out of each company. And the next program is the NJ Accelerate program. This provides support via matching loans and rent grants to graduate companies of approved accelerators. So if you're unfamiliar with an accelerator, it's a cohort-based school, I like to say, where startups can learn and develop their company and manufacture. They're in touch with a lot of mentors. So the NJEDA has partnered with a multiple accelerators now. I think it's over 10, and where we will match any or work with the graduate companies that graduate from this company, graduate from the accelerators. So we partner with we offer matching loans and rent benefit. And now a recent update with our program is that we accept foreign accelerators. So if you know any accelerators foreign, we love to talk to them. I'm going to go back and discuss about that. Okay, I'll start with the supported company. So this is one of our supported companies that graduated for the Entrepreneurs Roundtable Table Accelerator in New York City. So we were able to match on a one-to-one basis $157,000 in a convertible note, and they also received that 5% bonus I mentioned earlier. Here you'll see all the approved accelerators that we've partnered with. The most recent one was the NJ Fast Plug and Play in Hoboken, New Jersey. So I want to go over some of the requirements for the company once they graduate from that accelerator. So they must have at least 2 C-suite or founders in New Jersey, and they must have at least 50% of their employees in New Jersey. And the most important thing, like I mentioned, is to have to be graduated from these approved accelerators. We require like a graduation letter from this accelerator. So that's pretty much it for the eligibility requirements. And that should be it. If you have any more questions, happy to go over it.
Thank you, Abdu. Yes, we do have quite a few questions. So let's start with angel tax credit. Is the angel tax credit only open to New Jersey-based investors?
New investors, no, they can be global. They can be across the world, across the country. So as long as they don't have tax liability in New Jersey, they can receive a refundable tax credit, a check in the mail.
Yes. Thank you. Let's see, we've answered that one. Now, this might be back on NOL. The program says audit by independent CPA firm. Does it have to be a firm or can it be an independent CPA?
Hey, Cecily, I'll jump in on that one because
Thanks,
it's a
Clark.
little unclear on the question. So I think what's more important here, it can be an individual or a firm when we're talking about a CPA, but the key is that it must be independent from your applicant company. So you can't have like your CFO of your company generate your financials and say, oh, they're a CPA, so they count. So it has to be an independent CPA, whether that's a solo practitioner or a firm, that's fine. The other thing that's probably worth mentioning, I think I saw it in the Q&A, is we accept for NOL all 3 forms of financial statements from CPA. So not just an audited, but also reviewed or compiled.
Thank you, Kirk. Okay, so let's look at, this might have been for ATC, but it might have been for Angel Match. Does accelerator program investment count as angel investment?
When they say angel investment, are they talking about like do you want to use it with the angel tax credit program?
Let's address it from both angles. Yes. So go ahead with ATC.
So the angel, so yes, as long as it can convert to equity. So at least my understanding. So they can both be stacked, both programs, ATC and NJ Accelerate, as long as they meet the 75% employees.
And just to add for Angel Match as well, if the accelerator is participating in the preferred equity round, we should be able to consider it, but that would be the main consideration for Angel Match.
I would just
Thank
add
you.
one thing, sorry to interject. Typically, accelerators invest through a SAFE that would not be eligible for the angel investor tax credit or angel match.
So safes
Thank you,
so safes can qualify for angel tax credit. It's determined on the structure of it. That's kind of an either or, right? So when it comes to angel tax credit, preferred equity is always, or equity in general, is kind of the slam dunk. It's eligible when the transaction closes, almost always. If it's structured as a convertible note, it's not eligible at closing. It's eligible when it converts to equity. And then depending on the structure of the safe, it could be either or. When it's closed or when it converts, 9 times out of 10, it's at the discretion of the investor when they want to file their application. The devil in the details all around that for ATC, since it's a legislative program, is the definition of a qualified investment, which is specifically a non-transferable or a non-refundable transfer of cash. So, as you would think, right, equity, cash goes over to the company from the investor and can't go back. Technically, notes could be repaid, so we allow them to be eligible once they convert. And then a safe usually doesn't speak to conversion. So, to be as flexible as possible, we leave it to the company/investor to decide if they would like to apply for it once they first close the transaction for the safe, or they could also apply once the safe converts and becomes whatever that future equity is.
Thank you, Clark. So Angel Match again, for the Angel Match program, can you explain what you meant by the NJEDA is the first to commit?
Sure. So what that means is when companies apply for the program, they're showing us soft circle commitments. So those could be letters of intent or term sheets. Their investments must not have closed. And then we go through our application review process. We issue a commitment letter. And after that commitment letter is issued, companies can then go and close on their external funds with their outside investors. And once they show us the proof of closing and executed SPAs, we will go ahead and continue with our closing process. So that's what it means that EDA commits first by issuing the commitment letter first.
Thank you, Freya. And back to you, Freya. For Angel Match, is there a minimum investment amount? And can founders invest?
Yes, so the minimum for the program is $100,000, but this should come from at least 2 external investors, and it's up to the company on how they split the funds. And then in terms of founders investing, that would not be eligible for the program. The investors must be external and independent from the company, and we verify this through the cap table.
Thank you. For this next one, I'm not sure which program this is for or if it's overarching, but they're asking, how are valuations set for these grants? Is there a cap on how high the valuation can be? Clark?
Yeah, I'll chop in there. So, I'm not sure when the term valuation comes out, I'd say first taking a step back. If you're talking around our direct investment, we don't set valuations on the company because we don't invest in equity. Our investments in the form of convertible notes, so it doesn't require us to set a valuation on the company, if that was the request around it. Now, or the question was around that. Now, if we're talking more of how do we determine what the amounts are? It's when the programs are underdeveloped. It's not like a discretionary as we're going. Everything is set ahead of time. So when we're talking about the NOL or ATC, those are legislative programs. So all of the values have been our law and come to us. Similarly, on the direct investment programs and ESP, accelerate, those dollar amounts are done in the development of the program and set and don't change while we're executing.
Thank you, Clark. For Abdu.
Sorry, the other thing I would just throw in there, the last part, my bad. Grants. There's only one grant. Only one of these is in the form of a grant, and that is accelerates rent aspect. All of the other, ESP is a guarantee. You can think of that as insurance. It's insurance on an outside investor's loan or note to your company. NOL and ATCs are tax credits. So NOL is a tax credit you can sell to generate cash. ATC is refundable. So if you wanted the cash back for that credit, you get it during tax time. And then the accelerate and angel match, those direct investments are structured as convertible notes. So the only grant that's out there is tied for the accelerate rent portion until Maku starts talking.
Yes. Thank you. And for Abdu, a question from Gil is I'm assuming this is for ATC. Is this about New Jersey state tax credit, and what can the credit be claimed against?
New Jersey state credit for sure. I'm not 100% sure about the other question. Clark.
Yeah, if you really want to go through the process, you could use the credit to offset your tax liability. In 12 years, I've never, well, that's a lie. I've known one person that attempted to do it and said they would never try it again. So the devil in the details. Angel tax credit is refundable tax credit. Almost all other tax credit programs in the state of New Jersey are sellable, which means if you wanted to get cash for them, you have to find a buyer for it. Angel tax credit's not that way. So you just do, and actually it's not even a line item on the state income tax returns for individuals. So an individual would just file their taxes as normal. And once it's done, they submit to an audit group. Your certificate comes with instructions, and every time people have already done their taxes. So when they go in on the taxation side, there is no liability. So they issue a check back for the amount.
Thank you, Clark.
Yeah, it's a little interesting with the tax credit program works. The EDA approves applications that show that the company or investor or whoever the recipient is eligible, and then we work with a partnership division of taxation under Treasury, who actually handles the credit itself, the issuing of the credit, if there's cash for it, if there's anything that needs to move from purchaser to buyer, those types of things are handled in taxation.
Thank you. Let's go back to the ESP program for Abdu. Is there a minimum investment amount?
No minimum investment amount.
Thank you. This is a question for Abdu or Sarah. Peter is asking, I work at an accelerator teaching founders how to do business with retailers. How can we be part of your network?
So depending on the accelerators like criteria and how they work, there's certain requirements they have to meet. We can definitely discuss on certain requirements and maybe a connection. We can discuss with the accelerator itself. But we do have an application for it.
Thank you. I'm not sure which program they're referring to, but should the company be registered in New Jersey, or is registered company with a founder in New Jersey eligible as well?
So the company must be registered to do business in New Jersey. They can be incorporated anywhere. They can be incorporated in Delaware most time we see. But I'm not understanding the second part of the question, but definitely registration for a company in New Jersey.
Agreed.
Yeah, and the added clarity I'd throw on the end of that is for the EDA to give any sort of benefit to a company, the company has to obtain what's called a tax clearance from New Jersey. It's a law for us. And you can't obtain a tax clearance unless you've already been registered to do business with the Treasury in the state, which is separate from like incorporating or getting your LLC. The other aspect that I would throw in there that sometimes helps folks is like a tax clearance is similar to like a letter of good standing. It basically is confirmation for us from Division of Taxation that you don't have any outstanding liability or judgment.
Thank you. Back on Accelerate. How do we let the accelerator know that we are New Jersey Accelerate applicants are eligible? And specifically, the idea is that if the accelerator knows we are eligible or have applied for the Accelerate program, they may be incentivized to select our company.
I need to open up the question. Unless Clark.
So we partner very closely with these accelerator programs. Really, it's 9 times out of 10 driven through the accelerator. Less as much us interacting with the companies when it comes to Accelerate prior to them joining the accelerator. So that's usually the feeder to us is the accelerator itself. Now, if you are applying to any of those approved ones, they should be aware if you say you're from New Jersey that they know that they participate in the program. So
thank you. So let's go back to let's see here. Angel tax credit. If an angel investor invests, how much time do they have to submit for the ATC?
Right. So they have 6 months of the date of the investment. And so six months of date of the investment to apply. That's a more thing. And there is a long runway, so around 8 months to evaluate an application. So there might be a delay in that process.
Thank you. And I believe this is also still on ATC. The company has 2 to 3 potential angel investors putting up to $500K. Is this a good fit?
Depending on eligibility requirements, it depends on employees. There's a lot of things that's taken account, target industry. You can definitely send us an email. We can go over directly on what meets it.
Just to add, because it mentioned the 500K amount, in case I was referring to Angel Match, one of the requirements is that we need at least 2 external investors. So definitely reach out to us and we can talk more on that.
Thank you. We've got some more questions in the queue, but I'd like to move on and then we can get back to the Q&A. So I'd like to introduce Lexi. Lexi DeMorale is going to talk to us about the venture programs here at the EDA, specifically Innovation Evergreen, Founders and Funders, and Innovation Fellows.
Thank you, Cecily. Thank you, Clark, Freya, and Abdu for all that great info. I really appreciate it. So I work on the venture team, and I am only going to go through 3 of our products. But if you are far enough along in your company and you're looking for funding or maybe contacts with angel groups, certainly reach out to us at the venture team. Reach out to me. We are really here to help you. Our first interesting product is called Evergreen Fund. And what this means is if you find a partner fund manager, a partner of us, fund manager who is a partner in the Evergreen Fund, and they invest in you and you're a New Jersey company, we can match those funds up to $5 million. So the Evergreen Fund, it treats the New Jersey entrepreneur investment as an SPV, special purpose vehicle, but the funds get paid like we're a normal LP. So they get paid, they get the carry, they get the management fees, which of course is what funds really care about. And the other thing is, if you find a VC or a fund manager that wants to invest in you, but they're not on our list of 18 fund managers, they can apply online. Takes about 60 days. And if they invest $3 million in you, we can match that for $3 million. And the fund likes to apply to it because it's like another limited partner who's paying fees and carry. So everybody wins, and it significantly improves your, your ability to raise some funds. We're this is a relatively new program, and we have had a lot of success with this to date. Next page, please. Next page, thanks. Founders and funders. So we host, this is an event, and we host this event 2 times a year. And what it is, it's a full day where New Jersey entrepreneurs, you have to be a New Jersey entrepreneur, come and you can meet 8 to 12 investors in your industry in one day. So you have 10 minutes for, you get matched up with the different investors, you have a schedule. You have 10 minutes with each investor and you tell them about your company. And if they're interested in you, they will follow, you exchange contact information and you follow up later. Now, just to make this aware, there is, if you go to angel investors, there is a 3% chance that they will fund you. If you go to New Jersey Founders and Funders, that percentage goes up to 10%. So we have investors come repeatedly to our 2 events. We just had one this week, and the next one will be in the fall. So I recommend you go to our website and just register. There's a brief little business template they ask you to fill out. And that way, when we determine what the date is, because it's a moving target, when we determine what the date is, we will contact you and you'll get the date and the place. So, we tend to go all over the state to support the whole state. So the entrepreneurs, though, can only go to this event one time. So you want to be sure that you're not too early. And of course, every entrepreneur loves the company and they always need money. So really take a long, hard look to make sure that you're very close to being qualified to getting funding. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Next slide. Innovation Fellows. Well, this program is a income grant program. And this is a relatively new program, and it is a very interesting one. And I left out a very important number there. It is a 200,000 to 400,000 income grant program. And what this means is 3 entrepreneurs, half of that group, it could be 4 entrepreneurs, at least half of them have to be first-time entrepreneurs. Don't register your company. What you're going to do is in this program, you're going to fill out a business plan and don't register your company because that disqualifies you. And we have cohorts twice a year. Right now it's twice a year. And if you get accepted into this cohort for the business plan, you guys are first-time entrepreneurs, we provide you with mentor training from New Jersey higher education systems. We put you in touch with other groups that can help you. We host classes to help you. Contacts are made, and it's in a whole cohort. Our first cohort had a lot of entrepreneurs, 23 entrepreneurs, and they are all, it's been about a year and a half, I believe, and they are all still in business and they are all still learning how to do a company, how to run a company, and how to move it forward. And of course, after you set the company up and get everything established, the next step is how are we going to commercialize this? And we carry you through. So you start off here as a grant program for your income, $200,000. And if you have certain criteria, you're located in urban zones, you can get a match up to $400,000 and you can start really building a business. So we are very encouraged about this program. And that's it. Next slide. And I'm going to pass it over to NJEDA, our queen of grants.
Maku, before you begin, are there any questions for Lexi and the venture programs?
Thank you, Cecily.
Sure, no problem. Don't see any yet in the Q&A section. We'll give it another minute. Okay, you can ask questions at the end as well. Okay, thank you, Lexi. Maku. So Maku is here from the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, or CSIT, and she will talk about some of the programs there. Maku?
Thanks so much, Cecily. So it's, if we can just jump to the next slide, it's fitting that I'm talking after the Innovation Fellows program because many of the companies, as Lexi was talking about, that participate in the Fellows program, they're not companies when they apply, but once they become a company, which is one of the requirements, I believe, right after you're accepted into the program, you are at an early enough stage to go after our CSIT grants and a few other grants that you can stack. So NJCSIT, we are a sister agency to the EDA. We have separate programs and a completely separate budget that supports those programs. It was talked in the past that a lot of companies that were mentioned in the presentation have stacked our grants with EDA grants and have also gone after other federal funds, and I'll talk a little bit about that. We focus on very early stage entrepreneurs, academics developing R&D innovation based companies. We are a connector between entrepreneurs, universities, government agencies, as well as investors for startup companies. If you jump to the next slide, again, our benefit really is that we provide only non-dilutive grant funds. We do not do tax incentive programs. We don't do loans. We have a very straightforward, streamlined application for all of our grants. So while you are not required to pay these back, if you stay within compliance of the grants, we do ask for things like economic impact data from our companies that are accepted for a certain period of time. We also have a very strong relationship, and I'll talk a little bit more, with many of our research institutions throughout the state, which allow startup companies to find partnerships as they are working on their innovation, as well as other business support services that we partner with within other state agencies that really kind of helps you not only with your innovation, but also with moving your company forward. If you jump to the next slide, I'd like to just talk about the grants that we provide. Now, some of our programs are closed. I'll focus on the ones that are open and coming up. We have three categories of programs. We have vouchers, seed grants, as well as our SBIR, STTR grants. A voucher grant is really for a company that is looking to use specialized equipment at a core facility or research facility or lab, public lab or nonprofit lab throughout the state. So say, for instance, you're a clean tech company or you're a life science company or technology company, and you need to test or validate your technology, or you're looking for a maker space to build small pieces to your prototype. We can partner you with lab spaces at Rutgers, at NJIT, all the way down to TCNJ. We have federal labs as well as our partners, and they will allow, if the projects match what their capabilities can provide, you can use a voucher for up to $40,000 to offset the cost of using that equipment at their facility. It also supports any technical support that's needed at that institution. It pays for that technical support as well. This is a rolling program. The applications do not close. It's a 12-month project period, and then once that's up, you can apply for another one for another project. We actually, today, our board just increased the clean tech R&D voucher budget by $600,000. So we are really excited that we'll be able to support additional companies. Our seed grants, the seed grant that is coming up is a clean tech seed grant, $75,000 to support direct research and development to advance your technology forward. We are looking to support up to 10 companies, 10 awards for up to $75,000. That should be coming up roughly around the second quarter of this year. We'll be hosting a webinar and we'll share it with the attendees for those that are interested in participating. This grant goes directly to the company for research and development activities, hiring. A portion of it can go towards marketing, IP, licensing, and so forth. Our final grant that's also on a rolling basis is SBIR, STTR. Now, this is a matching grant that is aligned with the federal SBIR, STTR grants. So when companies receive a phase 1 federal grant, they can come back to CSIT to apply for an additional $25,000. When a company is applying for a phase 2 federal grant, before they hear back from the agency, they can apply for our $50,000 bridge grant. So it helps them keep the work going while they're waiting to hear back. Now, we know that there's a lot going on at the federal level. We're tracking some of the SBIR, STTR holdups within some of our agencies, but we do know that the federal program is still being supported, and it's going to be reissued again. But if you need assistance and support with this federal application, we partner with the New Jersey Small Business Development Center, who provides free SBIR, STTR coaches. These are experienced consultants that have worked with many of our startup companies to review solicitations and to review existing proposals. If you have applied in the past and were rejected, they'll review that proposal and help you apply. Again, this is a huge program for us, and we track New Jersey companies that have received SBIR. So it's a huge indicator that we're looking to increase. On the next slide, I'm sorry, if you just go back to that slide for a second. The middle column shows the eligibility requirements. They're pretty straightforward. Less than 50 employees, at least 50% of the employees must be in New Jersey, at least a minimum of one full-time employee working on the project. That's about 35 hours or more. Many of our companies do not have more than 5 million in prior year revenue. Prior year revenue does not include grant or federal dollars. So this is just strictly revenue from the company. So again, just be mindful of those requirements. They are pretty standard throughout all of our programs. On the next slide, I talked a little bit about the federal SBIR program. Again, if you are interested in support with going after those grants, this is the NJSBDC tech team that works with our early stage startup companies to, again, review solicitations, review your prior proposals, and so forth. Research with New Jersey is another very, very valuable resource that companies, whether small or large, can utilize. This is a free online statewide data platform that houses currently of over 7,000 research faculty from 8 research institutions throughout the state, over 330,000 research outputs. If you are looking for a research collaborator, if you're looking for someone who's doing similar work to you at any of our institutions, Princeton, Rutgers, NJIT, Rowan, Stevens, Kane, we have Hackensack Meridian as well on here. You can just go on the website, type in your search term, and find the individuals and directly get connected with them. This is extremely valuable, as many of our startups are always looking for research partners, as well as individuals that are possibly could go and support them with federal STTR grants. On the next slide, I believe is the last slide, is just our contact information for our team at CSIT. We're always here to help and speak with anyone if you have any questions on any of our products. So I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Maku. I think we have a few questions in here for you.
Sure.
One is, I was told when I inquired about 6 months ago of Catalyst R&D that many of the research and university facilities are booked. Can you update us as to the status of the facilities?
Yeah, the Catalyst R&D voucher, the universities that are part of that program, if you reach out to me, I'm not sure which company this is, we can talk about that. The application process requires you to just let us know which institution you may want to work or may want to partner with on your project. If you don't have an idea and you provide us with the project, we meet with the institutions twice a month. We're actually meeting with them next week. We present them with various projects that are proposed to us. So I'm happy to kind of talk with you one-on-one. I'm not sure which institution you were looking to work with, but we're happy to make that connection. All of the institutions that we're working with are still a part of the program. It just really depends on which one can support your needs for your specific innovation.
Great. And also for you on Catalyst R&D, does it have to be a new innovation, or can they build their own product here in the US that they're getting from someone else overseas?
It could be, again, it can be an existing innovation that they're enhancing. It could be a new innovation that they're working on. We can talk a little bit more about the project, but we are, as long as it's in an early stage of still development. So a lot of companies have come to us and say they're looking to, I'll just give you an example. Of food and beverage companies will come to us and say they have a product and they're looking to package and market it. You're too far along. We're earlier at the stage of, I'm still developing my formulation and I need support from the Food and Innovation Center at Rutgers to test the formulation. So we really care about the stage in which you are, and not so much, the type of, as long as it's the type of project, if that helps.
Thank you. And then can an AI technology software company meet the requirements of a clean tech company?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You could be developing we've supported a few clean tech companies that are developing AI platforms. So again, we're happy to talk through that project, but yes, you can.
Thank you. Who do we reach out to for SBIR or STTR for more direction on the federal application?
Yes, so that would be Frances Keel. She'll be out for the next few weeks, so you can email myself, and I'm happy to talk to you about the SBIR STTR program.
Great. And who is the contact for NJ Innovation Fellows? Back to Lexi.
That's me. And should I put my email address in the chat?
Sure, that's fine. Thank you.
Just I'll do it, and I'll put it in the chat, not the Q&A.
Excellent. Thank you. And as soon as you're done with that, Lexi, I'll turn it back over to you. Lexi is going to now talk about golden seeds. So go right ahead, Lexi.
Thank you, Cecily. Okay, I think I did that correctly.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. Okay, hello. This is the last time you guys will have to listen to me, but I'm hoping for no questions again, but just kidding. If you want to ask a question, certainly do. So in the pipeline, the funding pipeline, of course, entrepreneurs first, they do a lot of self-funding, then they reach out to friends and family, and then grants and friends and family, and then they turn to the angel world. And Golden Seeds is a nationwide angel organization that supports female entrepreneurs. So as with all diversity initiatives, not that this is a diversity, but it's really to help females because they are drastically underfunded. We want men in there too. We want men in the C-suite as well as women, but there has to be a woman in the C-suite with an equity position who makes decisions. So that's really what they're looking for at Golden Seed. So thank you. So we're just going to go over this first page briefly. I just want to talk just briefly about the Golden Seed Network, and then we'll get to the meat of the matter, which is what investors really want from entrepreneurs. And because you're so involved with your company, and maybe you're only a first or second time entrepreneur, it's really easy to get sidetracked into the details and the minutia. I do that even on my job, even now at this age. But what we're going to do is we're going to help you give a 30,000 view to investors, which is really what they want, which, saves them time and gets you to the point of the matter. Next slide. So Golden Seeds is a nationwide angel organization. They have almost 300 members. They have 8 chapters, and New Jersey EDA is a corporate member, and we run the New Jersey chapter. A lot of angel groups invest in this same group. Golden Seeds invest in technology, enterprise technology, B2B, some B2C, and they also invest in healthcare and life sciences. And unlike most angel groups, although there are some angel groups that invest in consumers, Golden Seeds also invests in the consumer and products industry. The interesting thing about that is it's a much higher bar for investment. And the bar is you have to have a $1 million annual run rate in revenue. And this one's a little easier, 40% profit margin. Most consumer companies certainly do have that. Next page. So what do angel investors want? The thing about angel investors, when you meet with them, you have to realize you are talking to other beings that you're asking them to reach in their own pocket and give you money. So these high net worth individuals, either very successful at work or entrepreneurs themselves and have had exits and want to give back. So nobody's going to give money to somebody who they don't trust, who's antagonistic. Not that you have to be a pushover, but you really have to show, you really have to shine. So you want to show them how capable you are. You want to show them your background, what qualifies you to run this company. They want to see that you're surrounded by other brain power, other people who are experienced in this industry, maybe even best yet, if they have a name in the industry. They also don't want to see a product that's a little bit better, a little bit cheaper. They don't want that. They want real innovation. And then, of course, a scalable business is really talking about leverage. And leverage means that I created this company, I did all the work to do it, I have a product, and now the product is selling exponentially, right? It's selling a lot. But leverage means that my expenses aren't increasing in concession or in same consistency as the revenues. So that's leverage, right? You can sell a lot more and it doesn't cost you as much in your expenses. So they also want to see multiple revenue streams. You know, the mood ring, it was great for, I don't know, a minute or two, and then it went under. So if you're very focused on just one thing, that's a little bit of a concern for them. They want an addressable market of greater than 500 million. They don't want to support lifestyle business, which means that you're going to start this company and you're going to pass it down to your children or do it until you go out of the office feet first. They really want an exit plan and some strategic partners that might buy you out, and that's a really important thing. And then, of course, they want angel groups really are much more caring and supportive of entrepreneurs than as you go up the funding pipeline. By the time you get to, I mean, a lot of these groups do help you, but angel groups will give you their own contacts. They will help you understand what app you should be using for accounting. They really help you out in a lot of different areas. So angel investors, and especially Golden Seeds, they're very, if they fund you, they will help you as much as they can with their own contacts. Next page. So this is a really common problem with all entrepreneurs, especially first and second time entrepreneurs. Are you ready for funding? Because everybody comes too early for funding. And if you can't help yourself and you go to a group and they say you're too early, ask them for the milestones. Okay, I understand. Thank you. What milestones do I have to reach that would make me interesting to you? So really to be looking at it, you know, the product, I've had entrepreneurs call me and said, yes, I want to develop a tech platform for life sciences or for healthcare or something, and they haven't written the tech platform. You need to have the product fairly far along. And if it's in a tech platform, it would be best if you have that platform in pilot with your potential clients so that you have a pilot going and they're giving you real life feedback and you're integrating it into your product, and you know you have a letter of intent from them or anything like that. Typically angels do pre-money valuation below 5 million. That's changed with the difficulty that people are having fundraising lately, but it's about 5 million. And typically you're seeking about 250,000 to 2.5 million. And again, if you're really just trying to raise 50,000 or 100,000, you might want to think about grant programs. You might want to think about your friends and family. You might want to think about your house or your 401k. You know, there are other areas for you. And then I already discussed the consumer products. They have a much higher bar for angels to invest in. Next page. So this is the meat of the heart. This is the meat of the matter, the heart of the matter. This is the important thing. Because you're so involved with the company, you get involved with the side stories. I do too, right? When I'm describing something, I get involved with the side stories. But here's what investors care about. What problem are you solving? What's your solution? Who has this problem? What's your target audience? You know, what are your competitors? And please don't say there are no competitors, because these angel groups see everybody. And when you say there are no competitors, I have I've heard it, and there is almost always a competitor. So don't get caught up in, oh, I'm so special. Really do your work and make sure you're clear on what your competition is. They care about that. Investors care about that. By the way, I'm not an investor. So everybody wants to know your sales plan, your sales and marketing plan. They want to know, you know, where your revenues are going to come from. And here's a really important one. People invest in people, right? We're investing in people. Who would have ever guessed that a camera on a phone would have been so valuable? I use it all the time. All my friends use it all the time. If you came to me 20 years ago, I would say, but I'm telling you, it really counts to be surrounded by people who are not your brother, unless your brother's a rocket scientist and you're in the rocket scientist business. But you really want to do people, you really want to partner with people in your industry, people who have a good reputation. They can be on your board of advisors, they can be on your board. You know, be smart about your team, because I have seen more than one entrepreneur get invested only because they love the team. So that's a really important thing. Of course, you need to say how much money you need and how you're going to spend it. Some entrepreneurs don't say, oh, how much money do I need? Oh, $1 million. No. Figure it out and determine and discuss what you're going to spend it on. And then, of course, obviously, you know, how you're going to get a return for them. I'll be 5 years. Here are my strategic partners. I expect one of them to buy me out. That kind of thing. And then the summary of why we should invest. Next slide. And then again, I just talked about angel investors being individuals. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Be authentic, be genuine. If you don't know the answer, don't make one up. Say, I don't know, because we don't know everything, right? Nobody knows everything. I don't know the answer. I'll get back to you, and be sure to follow up with that. And when you're walking down the street, always know if somebody asks you, you're at a cocktail party, oh, what do you do? You're not going to talk to them for 10 minutes. Nobody at a cocktail party or a social event wants to hear that. They want to hear your 30-second or 2-minute pitch. That's it. You want to be able to, I was on the phone with a woman who was telling me she talked to me for 45 minutes and it just took her that long to be able to discuss the company. You've really got to say the highlights of what your company does in short order, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, bing, bang, boom. Because now you're always ready, because you never know when you're going to meet somebody. You're never going to know when you're going to meet somebody who can help you or a potential customer. So, and then the last thing I'm going to say, because you can read all these things yourself, the last thing I'm going to say, especially if you're a first-time client, and you could see it in the deck here you learned today, there's a lot of benefits. There are a lot of times I hear investors ask an entrepreneur, a first-time or second-time entrepreneur, to go to an accelerator program. We have a big accelerator program. I recommend you take advantage of it. It really helps you. It teaches you a lot of skills, and in the accelerator program, they help you make contacts too. So next page. Any questions? I'm O for O.
No questions yet.
Beautiful. Oh, you
You
guys can
were
ask.
very thorough. Very thorough. Thank you, Lexi.
Of course.
Great. Well, our last section is Abdu. We'll go back to Abdu. He's going to do a case study for us on how to stack the benefits.
Okay. Hello again. So I'll be talking about a case study on Princeton Identity, a company that we supported. So here is Princeton Identity. It's a woman-led biometric identity management platform. So they were able to utilize multiple products from within the EDA and CSIT as well. So currently they're seeking funding for technology integration, increasing headcount, and for working capital. So they were able to secure $320,000 in angel funding through Golden Seeds, like Lexi said. And they also were able to, we matched up to $1 million in funding from Golden Seeds and other investments via convertible note, so angel match program. Some other programs they utilized were the angel tax credit program, and they were able to receive that 5% bonus. So 25% was received back to the investor. And the next slide, oh, I think that's it. Okay, so you can see that all these programs are stackable. So try to utilize and find a pathway on how to grow your company. So reach out, and I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Abdu. Let's check again. So this is the time to ask those questions. Okay, so Linda is asking, how do we get on the notification list for the accelerator program?
So it's not necessarily a notification list. So I recommend you reaching out to the accelerators that we are partnered with, and they have all a different time of applications and deadlines when their applications open up. Some close, some are on an open basis. So I would say do some research on the accelerator itself, see if it fits your industry. And there's an application on their website, and that's pretty much how I would go about it.
If I can add, the list of accelerators we partner with is on the webpage of Accelerate. We can put it in the chat, probably. I'll do it after this. They are all hyperlinked, so clicking on the icon of the accelerator, you can go directly to the webpage of the accelerator and check which ones are open and closed. Some are focused on specific sectors, some are sector agnostic. So please be careful in selecting those that apply to your company, and you can always reach out to us via email if you have further questions. But we are not involved in the process that is between you and the accelerator of submitting the application to the accelerator and being accepted in that accelerator.
Great. And the question is also, who would be the main person to contact to discuss Accelerate? Clark, Sarah, or Abdu?
Sarah and I would say.
Thank you. And then what does ESP stand for, Abdu?
Entrepreneur Support Program. We like to use a lot of acronyms because the long titles.
Yes. What other questions? Oh, not a question, just wanted to express gratitude. Thank you very much, anonymous attendee. Great. Any other questions? Well, I did see a question on earlier. Who would be the main person to talk to about SETI? Lexi with
that's me. Our SETI funds are on hold because of the federal executive orders. So we are that's where we are. Are you a fund manager, or were you going to be a investment? So anyway, the SETI funds are on hold. We have not moved forward with them at all because of the federal executive orders.
Thank you, Lexi. Abdu, another one for you. Is there a payroll minimum for the angel tax credit requirement? I am a solo founder with zero revenue.
As long as you have one employee, you should be fine. I believe that's it. One person on payroll.
Yeah, I would just throw out there, because they used a little bit of a hot button thing there from our lawyers, meaning you should be aware that we are not allowed to judge full-time employment based off of compensation. So the way that all programs go for, each program will have a different standard, but the typical standard is W-2 based employees, people that are receiving wages that are subject to taxes, or are participating in gains and losses that are subject to taxes. That's usually how it's defined. And most programs will require at least one employee. But yeah, unfortunately, all the programs are developed at different times, so they're similar but different.
Thank you. So somebody asked, can you please explain, so this is probably for you, Abdu, or ATC, can you please explain how tax credit works for an out-of-state investor?
Yeah, I think so. So investors outside of state can receive a check in the mail. That's the most important thing. So as long as they're investing in a refundable, non-refundable way, they can receive and they have no tax liability in New Jersey. Sorry, I hear a background noise. So, they have no tax liability in New Jersey. They can receive a check in the mail. So I think that's the most important thing to know. They'll have to file taxes in New Jersey for that year, and that's really it.
Yeah, so again, the EDA just approves eligibility. We don't actually award tax credits and give them to you. They come from Division of Taxation. And then if you are claiming the tax credits, right, even if it's giving you cash back, if you're an individual, you would be filing state level income tax returns. If you're a non-resident, there is a different type of non-resident tax return that you have to file. So yeah, to get the cash back, the out-of-state person has to file. Probably making it a little bit more specific as well, right? Like it doesn't just have to be individuals. There can be entities, but again, tax credits are going to taxpayers. So if you're talking about like an investment fund or an investment made through, say, a special purpose vehicle structured as an LLC or partnership, the credit will eventually be issued to a taxpayer. It wouldn't go to that entity. So hopefully that provides a little bit more detail there.
Thank you, Clark. And then just a couple more. This is probably for you, Lexi. Is the Life Sciences Fund also on hold?
No, thank you for asking. No, we have two fund managers, Tech Council Venture and Signet Healthcare Partners, that we have signed contracts with and closed with them. So if you fit either of those qualifications of Tech Council is earlier life science healthcare fund companies, and Signet is commercialized companies. But if you fit either of those categories, give me an email. I'd love to follow up with you and talk to you about where you are and move this forward. We would like to get those funds invested. So no, life science is alive.
I've got another one for you, Lexi. How do you participate in the New Jersey Founders and Funders program? I remember you mentioned to not register.
To not? Well, just you participate. You can only go once as an entrepreneur, so you should be reasonably close to qualifying for funding from angels or VCs. And so on our website, and if you want to email me, I'd be happy to send you the link on our website, our Founders and Funders website. If you just do the search for Founders and Funders, there's a business template that you fill out. And when we determine the date and the venue of the fall event, you'll be notified, and then you'll go back and forth and you'll sign up officially then. But this gets you on the list, because trying to track it on your own, it's an easy thing to forget and it happens quickly. And so I recommend you fill out the business template, which our website asks you to complete.
Thank you. And then there's a question regarding the NJA support program, which helps a person who is leaving their full-time job. They're wondering what the name of that was. That's the Innovation Fellows program.
I guess I'm up to bat with these questions. So the Innovation Fellows, the question is, what is required?
Well, they were just wondering what the name of that program was.
Oh,
and then
sure. Innovation Fellows. Innovation Fellows.
And is there a link or a URL?
It is on our website under Innovation Fellows. Yes, it is.
Great.
And again, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to send links.
Excellent. And then there was one question which said, thank you, this information is great, but how do I learn more? There's so much to know, and I want to make sure I am eligible. So the answer to that is to go to the NJEDA website. If you click on financing and incentives, you will see many programs there, and then look through that list to the program that you're interested in. And on each of those pages, it will give eligibility requirements. It will have FAQs. It will have a sample application, lots of information. And then there should be an email address listed there for you to get more information. For example, angelmatch@njeda.gov, or you can just email innovation@njeda.gov. That's a wonderful question. We'd love for you to learn more. We know this is a lot of information to take in. And so if you'd like to learn more, you can also come to our next office hours. It's always good to hear it over and over again. The next one in April will be April 25th at 2 p.m. That one will be in person in our office in Newark, right by Newark Penn Station, right across the street. And so we alternate these office hours, virtual 1 month and in person the next. So that next one will be in person. So with that, I'd love to thank all of our presenters today and all of our attendees. Thank you for all of the questions. We love the active engagement. If you have any other questions, as I said, you can go to our website and the innovation email is available to you. You can also go to njeda.gov/innovation-office-hours. That's where you can see that full list of office hours and click to register. That's how you obtain the link to attend a virtual session like today.
And thank you, Doug. He put in the link for the Evergreen, for the Innovation Fellows. Thank you, Doug, for doing that, just for people to see that. That's great.
Excellent. Thank you, team. It was a great team effort, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.